This is a really fun story. I've been excited to cover it. First and foremost is just the fate of TikTok. What the hell is going to happen literally 4 days from when we're taping this segment? TikTok is set to shut down as long as the Supreme Court doesn't issue an opinion. The Supreme Court has already said we're not issuing opinions for the next week. So basically it's over. As of January 19th, TikTok's plan is shut it all down. Now, people have been floating, trying to buy it. Mr. Beast has claimed, nobody really knows if this is a bit or not. It's probably both, but Mr. Beast has come out and said that he's met with a bunch of billionaires to try and buy TikTok. Here's what he had to say.
Just got out of a meeting with a bunch of billionaires. TikTok, we mean business. This is my lawyer right here. We have an offer ready for you. We want to buy the platform. America deserves TikTok. Give me a seat at the table. Let me save this platform, TikTok.
So that's his lawyer. I don't watch enough Mr. Beast to know the names of all the side characters. Isn't one of them named Chris or something? Is that his name? I don't know.
No idea.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, but
my kids.
I do know that there are many people in the Beast universe. He may be one of those. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe he's the one who they're always making fun of his mom. But anyways, that is something on the table. We have previously covered. We've previously covered the Chinese Communist Party floating, selling it to Elon Musk without even the consent of ByteDance. They didn't even know that that was possible. They have also come out and said previously, we're just going to shut it down.
Yeah.
So we have no idea what is
so even
happening.
if even this is real and billionaires are backing a Mr. Beast purchase
It may not
of
be for
TikTok,
sale.
it may not be for sale. I mean, that's what TikTok is saying, is we are not for sale. If this does not get, thwarted, this ban, reversed, then we're just going to shut down. One update is that Trump is apparently looking at an executive order that, I mean, he can't reverse the legislation without Congress.
Exactly.
But he could issue an executive order saying, yeah, we are going to use our prosecutorial discretion to not enforce this ban against TikTok, at least for this number of days while I try to work out some kind of a deal. So that appears to be the direction that they're moving in. Keep in mind, though, the ban is supposed to go in effect the day before Trump is inaugurated,
Right.
so whatever. And,
But we also know that Trump has now invited the CEO of TikTok to sit with Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk at the dais.
How do you feel about that, Sagar?
I'm not happy about it. What can I say? What did I open the show talking about? How Trump is a deeply transactional, egomaniacal figure who has to be manipulated through the media. Well, it's like
They succeeded. I mean, Trump became popular on TikTok.
yes.
He has now a warm place in his heart for it. I think he even said something to that effect.
Yeah, he did. He literally said that. He's like, the young people love me. The TikTok.
He did better with young people than he's ever done before, and so suddenly he feels. And by the way, he got a bunch of money from Jeff Yass. That never hurts. And so
No, it certainly doesn't. He's a Mar-a-Lago member who's got $20 billion net worth. Half of it's tied up in ByteDance. Why a U.S. billionaire is allowed to have a majority of his net worth tied up in a Chinese company. Very interesting. Anyway, we'll continue to move past it. The whole point in all of this, though, is there's also been an organic backlash, and this may surprise people. I'm really enjoying it. So lots of Americans are now downloading Chinese social media apps as a screw you to the government for banning TikTok. Some of those apps include, and I'm going to butcher this in Mandarin, I'm really sorry, is it Zhizhongshu or Zhaohongshu? That's what we're going to go with. And also Rednote. Zhaohongshu Rednote is a Chinese social media kind of TikTok competitor, but also has a messaging function on it. The fascinating part of this has been Americans interacting with actual Chinese netizens. It's the first time in almost 20 years that has happened, which I think is great. So let's go ahead and show people some of what we have got. Here we've got some creators just marveling over Chinese infrastructure. She says, your mind is about to be blown at what I found on Rednote, and she's showing off that. Here we have a creator just reminding all of the new Americans that this is a safe Chinese space. We need to respect the rules that are on this platform and not bring our American bullshit. I actually like it. That's how all Americans should act whenever they go to Asia. Shut your mouth, stop being so loud, eat the food that's put in front of you, and observe local customs. This was great. I love this. I didn't know China was so beautiful. Does China really look like this? So this is what I was wanting to talk to you about. There seems to be this lib and leftist consideration that Americans have been psyoped into believing China is some backwards nation. I don't think that is the case. I think this is actually just a matter of people being completely uninformed. Because if anybody, if you've been listening to me at least on China and others, what's the number one thing? They're getting ahead of us. I respect them. It's not in terms of, oh, they're these backwards, horrible people. I'm like, no, you don't understand. They're lapping us on multiple different industries. In many ways, they have a better quality of life in some cities and others than American citizens do, which also appears to be shocking to people. So my take on this is it's great. I think it's great that Americans are getting to talk to Chinese people on their social media apps. The question for the Chinese is, are they going to continue to allow that?
Yeah.
So,
mm-hmm. Well, it's an interesting question for them, because on the one hand, it makes it so it's harder to control, right? And you have this. I mean, I think this sort of cultural exchange is a beautiful thing.
Oh, it's great.
Massive
Listen,
support
I'm
of it.
pro.
I think the more that we interface with people from other countries and see them as just human beings, going about their lives and doing their thing with personalities and sense of humor and whatever, I think that is a beautiful thing. I also think, I don't know what conceptions people have in their head about China, but I do know that most of the coverage from Western media about the country of China is quite negative. So, having interface with just regular Chinese people and being like, these are nice people. I like this person. Like, they're just like me in a lot of ways. I think that is a net positive. Mm-hmm. For the Chinese government, on the one hand, it's kind of like tremendous soft power that they're having access to right now, because they are the perception of China and what the country is like and what the people are like among young people in this country who have been more willing than other generations. I mean, they're just not locked in this like Cold War mentality. They're not locked in the mentality around Israel. They're not locked into some of the previous preconceptions. So minds are a bit more open to start with. I think that is, I think the Chinese government probably sees that as a tremendous asset and boom. On the other hand, they want to control. They have exercise much more tight control on their social media than we do, even from the perspective of just like, they don't let young people in their country have the screen time that we have. So they see social media, and in some ways they're very correct about this, about some of the incredibly deleterious effects of social media on our own young people. And so they're more like sensitive to those concerns. And then also they're obviously like censorious in certain ways, and there are certain topics they don't want broached whatsoever. So it is an interesting,
This is what a friend of mine, Rush Doshi.
But I've been loving it. But I would say bottom line, I've been loving it. I've been enjoying the exchange, the things that are popping up on Twitter. It's funny.
If you think China is backwards, you're an idiot, okay? I mean, Shenzhen is probably one of the world's most advanced cities. I'm totally blanking on the guy's name right now. He's a car reviewer. I think his name is Forrest. I'm gonna go with that. He does some of the best car reviews in the business, and he does a ton of Chinese EVs. BYD will lap a Tesla and any American-made EV by a mile.
There's a reason why we have to have protectionist policies vis-a-vis EVs, because they're kicking our ass.
I'm forgetting the guy's name. Warren Buffett's billionaire partner who died, Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger. I listened to the last interview he gave before he died, and he said that the founder of BYD is the single smartest person he ever met, the greatest inventor. He was like, I would have put more money into him if I possibly could have. Just so people know, I have deep, deep respect for a lot of these people. I've also been to China. I was very young. I was like 16, 17 or whatever when I went. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Specifically, the Great Wall of China is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my whole life. The Forbidden City, it's incredible. They have an amazing history. I have nothing but respect for these people. And in fact, it's my respect which makes me fear them. But a question here with Rush Doshi, let's put E4 please up on the screen, is Rush makes this point. As Americans flood Zhaojiangshu, which is what we're going with, we're seeing a lot more direct online interaction between the US and PRC citizens. But the PRC has not always welcomed that, which is partly why it has banned foreign social media. So the success of the app is a major test for PRC authorities. He follows up, candidly, I've enjoyed seeing the interaction. It reminds me of an earlier, more hopeful era of US-China people-to-people interaction on the internet, which is 20 years old now. And that's precisely why I would be nervous if I was an executive of that company right now. Previously, we have seen this. Facebook nuked, Google nuked, and they nuked these things early. And when I visited in 2009, I want to say, That's when we were in high school and we were very on Facebook. There was no Facebook. That was the first time I ever went to a country and I can't use Facebook. Same with Google. It was shocking. I remember even then, I mean, what, almost 15 years ago or so now. So that's the reality of what life is like in China. All of their actions around ByteDance have showed us this. Again, people don't seem to understand this. TikTok, it might be a Chinese company. It's not what they use in China. They have their own version. I think it's called Douyin. And Douyin has screen time restrictions, 1 hour a day for people who are teenagers. If you're an OnlyFans model, yeah, good luck. You're getting nuked. If you're like a little influencer girl who's promoting consumerism, nuked. If you are promoting transgenderism or gender ideology, nuked. If you are promoting hard work and filial piety to the Communist Party, oh, all of a sudden you're a nice little influencer there. So just so people know, the difference between actual Chinese social media and American social media is gigantic for what it actually shows. But in general, I have been really enjoying this American cultural exchange. As people know, I don't like Europe. I encourage people, if you're able to visit China, go for it. I know a lot of people who did study abroad programs there. They absolutely loved it. Immerse yourself in the culture. It's cool. It's like an alien society because they do things totally differently. Their evolution of tech is incredible. What they did is because they skipped Facebook, Google, and everything on the MacBook, everything in China is on the phone. They pay for all of their stuff with their phones. All their social media, Uber, everything, it's one of the world's most like convenient societies. Now, it has some downside with social credit score. It also, if you piss off the government, your phone stops working, your payments stop working. You need, permits to be able to leave your village and like to be able to go from one place to another. You should ask them about that on Zhijiangshu. But yeah, look, I'm enjoying people learning more about the world, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. It's earnest and it's sweet, and I think anytime we can break down those human-to-human barriers is a good thing. This is also kind of funny. Apparently, the interest in learning Mandarin has like skyrocketed.
That's good.
Duolingo is, seizing on this moment as well. I can put this up on the screen, which is kind of funny to say, oh, so now you're learning Mandarin, and they've been putting out a bunch of tweets about. And also, I did see a graph just showing the tremendous spike in people who are trying to learn Mandarin, or at least the basics, who have had their interest sparked by this whole thing. So it's just sort of funny and ironic that the attempt to ban TikTok over concerns about like Chinese influence and infiltration, whatever, has led to this response of people learning on a very visceral human-to-human basis way more about China than they ever had before. So
caricatures of people are never accurate. China is a country of what, 1.1 billion? Even saying Chinese people is insane, right? You have all of these different provinces.
Minority groups.
There are so many different, which they don't like to talk about. Ask them about that too. Ask them about Han Chinese domination and how they feel about that. You've got multiple. Well, actually, they're on one time zone, which is insane. like people in Tibet are on the same time zone as in Beijing and have to keep the same time. But it's a vast country. They have everything from, like I said, rural to multi-tech oligarch billionaires. They've got people who don't even drive cars to people who take some of the world's most advanced transportation. That's why it's interesting. I encourage people to learn a ton about it. And I think the more that you will learn, you will understand exactly how they use their corporations and others to try, at the detriment, in my opinion, of the United States, of their competition, of their ability to plan long-term, baked in to their government and foreign policy since the days of Deng Xiaoping. And I think the most interesting thing about them is the duality of China. Like I said, the rural and the urban, the communists and the capitalists, like the oligarchy, but the Communist Party. It's a fascinating country. And look, we're gonna have to live with them no matter what. So it's great. Learn Mandarin. The more you can learn, I wish I knew it. I wish I could speak some of it. Learn Cantonese too. It's actually one of the coolest sounding languages, in my opinion. Hong Kong, that would be the next one on my list if I was able to go. So we'll see.
Yeah, I would love to go to China. That's definitely on my list.
There you go.
All right, let's go ahead and get to Faz Shakir, who has announced a run for DNC party chair. Very interesting to hear what he has to say. That's next.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.